and welcome back to Dungeon Breaker, where we are playing the grim, dark setting of Age of Sigmar, Soulbound.
Whoa.
How are you today? We're carrying on from our last episode, wherein our heroes escaped from a crumbling mine full of skaven rats. But only just, as they start to clamber up onto the surface, where the mining materials that have been dredged up from not the earth, but the Shyish underneath them, have been possibly placed into one of the most terrifying ballistic weapons our characters have ever seen. How's everybody feeling so far? We all good? You've clambered up onto the surface level. It seems to be, in comparison to where you were, relatively rat-free.
I mean, that's a positive, yeah.
Sure. Feeling
In some ways, I miss the rats. You know,
feeling quietly encouraged, if that's the case.
I think.
So to give you a brief description of your surroundings, now that you've all managed to get up, I'm guessing, like, I wouldn't want to put words in your mouth, I'm guessing you probably want to cut the rope from below you.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll do that with my great axe. I'll be like,
Yeah.
boom.
I imagine you think to yourself, Woody, God, this is a great axe. But as you're doing it, I just wanted the reaction from Johnny for that one. As you're doing it, as you cleave through, you get a moment to just sort of stand up, but then you immediately just sort of dip yourself lower down again. Because whilst you can see rats around you, and they are sort of like, oh God, the alarm has been rung, that you can see they're getting ready for some kind of attack. They don't necessarily know of your presence. Perhaps you duck behind some of the crates that are surrounding this area where the giant pulley system has been pulled. You're right,
Hide behind Woody.
Hide behind Woody.
Yeah. I'm just a tree again.
Because when you said duck down, Woody must still be like 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
So you've got sort of ramshackle. Everything's ramshackle. I'm going to use that word a lot. You've got very poorly constructed buildings all around you. They are sort of clad with metal and wood, just like the weapon itself that you saw earlier. This giant anti-air weapon. And every sort of, as I said, as every few minutes pass, you feel another projectile being shunted out at ridiculous speeds into the air. Which you are slightly concerned might be destroying more of the ships that you would perhaps hope would be coming to help you. But as you're looking around, as I said, you don't seem to be too conspicuous right now with the amount of covering that you have. As you walk out onto the main sort of promenades around you, where more of the actual work is being done, that's where things are actually going to be a bit more tricky. But you have like a moment here to collect your breaths and think about your next plan.
I think Morgana's like wiping some of the slime off of her from last time when she was climbing up the rope.
Tasty eel slime.
And at one point she like sniffs her hand and goes like, and then she looks at everyone else and says, "So what do you know about being a rat? Because that might be helpful."
Philosophically or
Just in general, really, I think.
physiologically?
I just think...
Very little.
I think we're going to stand up like a small fob and go out there.
Yes. I think we can rule out the social approach straight out the window. I was wondering if you might like to try your patented sort of sneak around and murder them one by one until they're all dead sort of plan. If we can take out that gun and then destroy it and salvage some bits for our Arcanaut friend back home, then maybe we'll actually stand a chance of getting out of here before they can repair this whacking great thing.
I think Morgana looks around the corner to see exactly how many Skaven are out there.
Tell you what, roll me mind awareness.
Mind awareness, eh?
Let's say that this is 3s and up. Probably need about 2 or 3 successes.
Ye want the mind plus the awareness, do ye?
She just
It's been a long
just
time.
get into rat character. That's a single success. I'm rolling real bad at the moment.
Difficult to tell, really. Probably hundreds.
Okay.
You'd wager. But they're all in different places, so...
Organa sees all the Skaven, then looks back at Okri and says, if you're willing to wait about 4 hours, then I reckon I could kill all of them.
That's quick work, to be fair.
Yeah, crack on, fine. I could do with a disco nap, I don't mind.
I mean, it's just a suggestion, but I think maybe the longer we wait, the more ships get destroyed, and then the harder it's going to be for us to get out of here.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I suppose the number of rats we kill isn't really the point. We just need to smash up the gun a bit, and then have some of the gun to fix up the ship.
Okay, how about this?
We just need to make something, explosive?
What if Woody, you, Gwyn, you make some sort of distraction here to kind of draw away most of the Skaven. So then I could go and sneak off, kill the ones that are, using the weapon, and then we get out of here.
What? With the greatest respect, once we got out of here, wouldn't the ones who were over here just go over there and start using the gun again?
Scrap that.
I can disappear.
Okay, moving on.
I can disappear into the roots and strike.
Oh yeah, the alarmingly effective thing you did with the pipes before. I remember, that was great. Yeah, I'd love to see that again.
Woody holds up a slightly bloodied wave pipe.
Picking bits of rat out.
Yeah, it's got to clear the pipes of chunk. I mean, listen, if you can just sneak your way up there and then, go to town on the gun, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Nope.
how hard could it be? It's just a gun. A big gun.
It's a very big gun.
It's a very big gun.
It's probably like half a skyscraper.
Are we just trying to deactivate the gun? Is that what we're trying to do?
Well, so it would be prudent to probably deactivate the gun, but the main thing you're looking for is some kind of power source to replace the engine that has been destroyed on your way home. But of course, if you don't deactivate the gun, then there is every chance that as soon as you get that ship back in the air, you will be shot down by it.
I mean, if we, I don't know a lot about weaponry or machinery or that sort of thing, but I imagine if we took the power source out of the gun, then it would be very hard to fire the gun.
Agreed. I tell you what, you let me worry about the mechanical stuff, and then why don't you worry about the going over there and stopping the gun bit. You do the smashing. I'll make sure we're in a good position to do the fixing once we get back to the base. Whether it's square or circular.
Just a quick...
Little Warhammer joke there for you, lads. So
just a quick aside.
as you're bringing yourselves to a sort of an agreement on the plan, you hear sort of like murmuring and shouting, and as you sort of like perk your ears up, you can hear in the distance a few of the rats saying "Delivery, delivery," as there's like this engine noise, much different, a lot smaller from what you can tell. But in stereo almost, coming from sort of like south of your position. If you clamber up, you could probably get a look at what's going on. Or float.
Clamber.
So Okri, as you sort of like just pull yourself up high enough that nobody notices the giant balloon on your back, you can see off in the distance there is trails of dust flying high up in the air as these two vehicles are pulling behind them this massive cargo load, which appears to be full of the projectiles that this weapon is firing. At the front, these two vehicles. Have you ever fought the Skaven before?
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah.
You'll definitely notice the Doom wheels.
Yes!
Doom wheels are, imagine one giant hamster wheel of death with a Skaven in the middle, and either side are warp lightning powered cannons. Inside there are sort of like goggle clad, warlock engineers who are powering this thing, driving around. And both of them in tandem are pulling this cargo shipment behind them. And as they sort of like get to a finish, they just sort of park themselves up, and all kinds of rats start pulling these giant projectiles out of the cargo ship. And you see the rats inside the wheels just sort of like pull their goggles up and just sort of look around for something to eat. They leave their vehicles around.
This big cannon, warpstone cannon thing.
Yes.
How movable is it? As in, I assume that it pivots to aim, but could it swing all the way back round, for instance?
Ooh, I don't know if it's got full 360 rotation. Imagine like a weapon emplacement, which is sort of being, you use those big rotating fulcrums to sort of like spin it round.
Okay.
I don't know if it would go all the way around necessarily.
Right. So we couldn't hypothetically aim it at the floor that it's sat on.
It's too big to aim at the floor.
Okay, that makes sense.
You could probably shoot at a 90-degree angle, but I don't know if you'd be able to push it down at all.
Try and aim it straight off and have it come straight back down into it. About 20 minutes later, just sat there.
Any minute now.
Wind.
I'm going to lower myself to the floor and say, all right, new plan. There are some Doom wheels there. They've almost certainly got some stuff in them that we can nick and reuse, I imagine. And anyway, there are some of those weird big bolts on the back. It's a pretty easy score. I reckon 2 of us should go pinch a Doom wheel each. Respectfully, maybe not you, Woody. And the others go wreck the gun so it doesn't work. I'm sorry, Woody. It's just that you're 10 foot tall, mate.
It's got a point.
Yeah, respectfully, Woody, I don't think you'd fit.
As much as I know you've wanted to. I think, Morgana looks...
We get a flashback of a 6-year-old Woody who's playing with his Doom Wheel toys.
No.
Dad comes in and says, Woody, you'll never be able to drive a Doom Wheel.
A single tear.
I'll show you, Dad.
A single tear goes down his face, and a leaf sprouts out of his cheek.
Crow sap.
Wow.
And we flash forward. We're back in the room.
Morgana looks at Okra and says, good plan. See, look. I'm being nice. I'm praising.
Mm-hmm.
For the record.
But
Could you do something for me quickly? Because, people who like each other do that, right? I think.
like what?
She brings out a chain out of her pocket. And she brings out one of her daggers. And she's like... She just sort of smashes them together a little bit. And looks at you and goes,
Guess it.
She gives them to Okri.
What am I rolling?
Mr. Whelan?
Sorry. For some reason, I thought you were asking me.
No, I really wasn't.
It's gonna be mind plus crafting.
Mind
same
plus
as
crafting.
before.
Okay.
Yeah, so a 3 up, and you need 2 successes.
Okay. Let me just look up. I know I've got something for this. Because I am an Engineers Guild member.
Ooh.
And I think that's my talent that... Yeah, here we go. La 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 la. Oh, never mind. That's for making etheric devices. So let's not do that.
Yes.
There's no way that you could etherically attach the chain to the dagger.
And then I'm just going to double check that Savvy doesn't come into this.
Super glue.
I think Savvy is more a social thing, isn't it?
Just super glue the chain to the...
Oh yeah. Well, all right. Bloody hell! I mean, if it's that simple.
Yeah, do it yourself then. Go on.
Let me just get my gorilla
Bit of duct
glue.
tape. Duct
Look,
tape.
using a point of focus is optional. I'll remind you. What am I looking for?
3 ups, 2 of them.
Great. That's 4.
All right, that is a super critical success. In fact, you get such a strong bind on this that for a layman to look at it, they would assume that it had always been attached to the dagger.
Yeah.
Morgana takes it, looks at it, and looks back at Ockrey and goes, pretty good.
Oh well,
Morgana,
simple
this is-
really. Just a bit of
This
glue.
is a shackle. This is a shackle, so you could attach it to your
Yeah, I think she
wrist
wants
as
to do
well.
that. But and then she's looking at Ockrey very deeply. She said, "Thank you," and then smiles in that horrible way. She's trying to be nice.
Morgana, can you roll me soul plus determination, please?
Soul plus determination.
Yeah, you're looking for a single 3 up.
I don't think I have determination.
Sounds like you're going to be sick then.
Yeah, might be. She got 2 successes.
Okay. You managed to get the word thank you out of your mouth without too much problem.
Yeah, she puts the chain around her wrist and she looks at Woody and goes, shall we do this? Smash? Do some smashing?
Smash, crash, bash.
Yeah, let's go.
A little bit of thwacking.
Maybe a bit of slapping?
Who knows? Ours is not to know. All right, so let's talk your plan here. What are you just going straight out, stealthing away? Are you charging into battle and just running head first at the weapon? What's the plan of attack here?
Well, yeah, Woody, you can do your roots thing, right?
Way pipes. Yes.
Excellent. Where's
So I've
A rat in the distance goes.
the beautiful music?
I have 2 different options of using the way pipes. I can walk the spirit paths, or I can stalk the realm roots.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're different in that one of them lets me just like relocate to a place within long range, and the other one lets me like do melee attacks in future if I want to. Like
Right.
I would essentially come out of the earth and then attack and then go back into the earth.
Kind of like transport/trap.
Okay.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm attacking, right? Is that what we did? What we landed on? I'm gonna take some out. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Go smash
Yeah,
gun
I
was the plan.
I would say, I think that Woody, you're quite a bit bigger than me. Might be a good suggestion for you to do a lot of the weapon smashing, just because, you know, it's a big weapon. You're a big person. Thinking that might add up well.
Okay. Is the weapon within medium range?
Oh no. No, it's quite a walk away. Yeah, but you're in quite a large encampment.
Okay.
You are dead center, but it's off onto the side of this sort of cliff face, which you're situated on top of.
It's not within long range either.
Sure, long range. It's
Doing
quite,
Matt here.
it's quite an abstract concept, isn't it?
Well, then I can only walk the spirit paths. In which case, it says DN 4-1. What does that? It means that I need to
So
roll a
that's
4 and a
you
1
need to roll 1 4-up. Yeah.
on 1 dice.
You need 1 success of a 4 or higher.
On 1 dice.
How many dice are you rolling? What does it tell you to use?
It doesn't tell me. Oh, hold on, it does. Soul entertain, doi. 1. Oh, just 1.
Oh
Just the
yeah,
1.
this is because you're performing, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Toot!
Like a train.
I rolled a 4. I rolled a 4 on 1 die. That's all I needed.
Oh yeah, I forgot you only get the one
Yeah.
because you're bad at
I
it.
have 1 soul and 0 entertain.
Damn.
Woody's a bit dull.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well,
let's
come on.
Wow,
Woody's
yeah.
abilities just lie in driving around.
Not playing the
Being a
waypipes
tree.
normally.
Yeah, I'm more of a
More of
smasher.
a smasher.
Less of a
Tutor.
smash hit.
You play punk music, you know. You don't have to be good at it. It's
Trees don't have great lung capacity, you know. Like,
yeah.
Mm.
So let's imagine the scene then as this Kernoff takes out the rat blood infested waypipe. And for a moment, you're surprised as you actually start hearing real music come out of it for the first time since your adventure started. It's kind of like it's like a soft, woody kind of embouchure sound to it, as the movement of the bark-like lips of the Kernoff just sort of push around each of the holes. But as the melody comes out, you notice that the floor around this Kernoff starts to just twist and shape, as almost like a walkway appears before them. And before you know it, where did they go? I looked to the side for 1 second, and suddenly I can't see Woody.
Well,
Here I
You
am.
flash over to Woody's perspective.
hi.
I wouldn't do that if you're trying to stealth past.
Look.
Hello. We flash to Woody, who is walking the world routes as they are both in and out of existence, just traipsing through this kind of ethereal, like forest plain.
Quick question.
And as they
Sorry,
get
just
to
quick
the
question.
yes,
How long does this take in real time? As in the game
It's
time?
instant.
It's instant. Okay.
it's instant.
Carry
So,
on.
yeah. So, I mean, you as a party hear suddenly the distant shouting of rats from the weapon as Woody just sort of emerges onto one of the platforms aside it, where they're maybe
I feel like a god.
using some of the aiming points and ammunition loading points, and there are just sort of like bespectacled and goggled wearing rats just like who are not armed in the slightest, just sort of like backing up and screeching and shouting at you.
Alright, well,
Oh, okay.
go on,
Yes.
ladies.
Can I hit them? Can I do?
Of course
Okay.
you can.
Can I swing my great axe around?
Oh, of course. Let's say there's about 5 of them around you, and once again, they're unarmed. They're just weapon engineers. They're not here to get into
You're making
scraps.
lonely so bad.
Okay. Well, how about am I able to like hit them with the back of the axe? So I'm like knocking them
You
out.
want a non-lethal takedown?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You're trying to knock them out.
Yeah. I don't need to chop their
slash
heads
them
off.
up. Okay, well, let's say that their defense is poor. What's your melee skill again?
It's good.
It's good. All right, so you're 2 or higher. So you only need to hit difficulty number of 2, and you're rolling your, body plus weapon
Yeah,
skill.
baby.
Yeah, baby.
And a success is 3 or higher. You said
A 2
2
or
or higher. Oh, okay.
That's real easy, huh?
I got 5 successes.
Oh.
oh, wow.
That's 1 for each rat. They all sort of like huddle into a ball as they're just trying to avoid whatever the hell you are and whatever the hell you're about to do to them. As you just like you grab your great axe, you hear them go, and then you just sort of flip it round the other way and they go, and then bam. Just with one big thwack, they all just like plummet to the floor.
Like dominoes.
Yeah, exactly. You hit one in the head, their head hits somebody else's head. Eventually, they're all unconscious at your feet.
Yay.
I think, yeah, Morgana looks over at Okri and Gwyn and says, I better go. That's my cue. And then Morgana, I think she's gonna, unless you wanted to spend any metal, ladies, is this a combat round or we're not in combat? Okay.
We're not in combat. That was, you went onto a platform with some rats. They did absolutely nothing to try and stop you.
Yeah, Morgana's gonna use her vanish ability, which means she's able to blend in with her environment and go unnoticed. I can attempt to hide even if there's no cover or shadows. So she's gonna try and I don't know if hide means she specifically needs to find a spot and stay there, or whether it means she can just...
Well, even if there's no cover, so you are just going to vanish from thin air. But to be honest, there are sort of like dust storms like flying over you. It's giving you a kind of a visual cover anyway.
She wants to head on over towards where the commotion is happening on the weapon.
Okay. Is there anything you need to roll to do that ability?
Nope. Just says you can attempt to hide, which makes me wonder whether it's if I go somewhere to hide, to do a hide action, or whether, because otherwise it's useless.
Well, let's tell you what. Let's say that we're going to do like a stealth skill check to see how far you can get with each one, but we'll give you advantage. So let's say that this is a body plus stealth check. Normally you'd be rolling, let's say 3 ups, but with advantage it's 2. For each success you get, we'll say that you manage to travel further without having to stop yourself. If you get no successes, then you've been found.
3, that's 3 successes.
So should be pretty simple. Okay, so here's what happens. You sort of you give your compatriots a nod, and then just sort of slip behind the wall. And as they just sort of look at themselves and look around the corner, you are just, for all intents and purposes, vanished. You're sort of like stalking through the dust storms. Maybe like 1 or 2 Skaven just sort of pass by you as you just stiffen up and just hide yourself behind a rock. But as far as they're concerned, there's nothing in front of them. Like, you are just completely invisible to the naked eye, or to the naked rat eye in this case. But you're having to move very carefully. So you manage to sort of pass across this kind of makeshift road that appears to have sort of all kinds of like mechanical tracks and stuff from the weapons they've been moving around. There are general sort of like areas where the rats seem to be sleeping that stink. There are all kinds of like, storage containers full of like old rusty weapons that they foraged and stuff that they're going to be gearing themselves up with. You're probably about maybe like let's say about 50 meters or so from the weapon, so you're about halfway of the journey there, where you actually see this procession of rats, like a big clump of them just marching very slowly in front of you, and you kind of dip behind some cover to make sure that you're not seen. But as you're watching them, these are unlike any of the rats that you've seen around the rest of the camp, because they're actually covered completely in these sort of green robes. They are just sort of like hunched over, and one at the front is carrying this big tomb. And the smell coming from this group of rats is pungent, as you hear them sort of like chanting and chittering to themselves. At the front, next to the rat at the head with this giant tome in their hands, one of them is like flailing this green orb on a stick, as this horrible, like disgusting thick green air is just pouring out of this strange contraption that they're floating around. It's almost like they're blessing the place, but it doesn't feel like a blessing to you.
Yeah, each their own. I won't judge.
Yeah. No judgment here from the Blood Elf.
It's fine.
We've all got our weird stuff,
we're
trust
all
me.
into our own weird hobbies. So Morgana is seeing this happening, and presumably she doesn't really want to go anywhere near. What?
You'd have to wait for them to pass, but they're making like this long column as they walk. But as you sort of squint your eyes to try and see through the dust, you can see that Woody has dealt with whatever commotion they appear to have like dropped in on. But until they move, it seems like they're probably going to go unnoticed for now, seeing as they've got this sort of elevated position in the dust storm.
Okay.
There are like a couple of them in these robes that are sort of a little bit closer to you.
So either I'm going to have to wait for them to just sort of walk past and hope they don't see me, all this horrible stuff, and get on Morgana, or I just cut them.
Cut them. There's a lot to cut through, but yeah, you could cut them, of course. Whilst you're making your mind up, let's flip back to Okri and Neil the Eel.
It's Gwen!
And Gwyn. I know, I was making a joke. What are you guys up to right now? Was the plan for you to go after the Doom Wheels?
Yeah.
All right.
So I figure, because you said the drivers had got out and gone off to fulfill other duties, right?
Yeah, so they've left this sort of makeshift like cargo container here, whilst the clan rats and Skaven slaves are sort of pouring into it and grabbing all of the armaments out of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like Gwen and I are kind of sneaking down toward the Doom Wheels while I am just reeling off their technical specs. Like, you wouldn't believe the torque on these things. I mean, they look dreadful, and they are. You can't trust a scryer rat to build anything that won't just blow up if they push it too hard. But handled properly, this thing, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I think,
yeah.
I don't know what Gwen's thinking because I'm not letting Gwen get a word in edgeways, and I haven't actually discussed the plan. But I kind of feel like just a smash and grab where like let's grab the Doom Wheels and just haul off all this stuff and just pelt it, and the rats will probably fall off the back. That's the whole plan. Get in Doom Wheel, drive Doom Wheel away, see what else happens.
Live a carefree life on the road.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Yeah. If we have to, we'll Thelma and Louise it off a Shyish ravine into one, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I really haven't thought too much about this, is what I'm trying to say.
That works for me. Ill here don't care much for transport anyway.
What does he care for? Out of interest.
Eating rats.
Spaghetti.
Eating rats.
Yeah.
Spaghetti, did you say?
Wow.
Amazing, yeah.
Diet.
It's very hard to eat underwater, though.
To be fair, I feel like eels and spaghetti have probably like a spiritual connection.
Is that
Yeah, they're distant ancestors.
Exactly.
Well, I think you'd be worried about that.
Spaghetti and merballs.
I don't think spaghetti's conscious.
No, yeah. Even in Shyish, I don't think spaghetti has sentience.
Well,
No.
you never
No
know.
spaghetti. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know though, yeah. They're always making new law, so if they do introduce that, we can at least try and claim some royalties.
Can we make the next adventure be set in the spaghetti realm?
Spaghetti realm.
I mean, I'll
Flying
look into
meatballs.
it.
Yeah.
Anywho,
So we're kind of Okri and Gwen are kind of just crossing where Morgana's already gone, right?
No, so you're kind of heading in the opposite direction. So imagine you're in like a sort of shanty area,
right,
where there's all kinds of like really crappy little shed-like buildings that you're sort of ducking behind. But as you get closer to this this pair of Doom Wheels and the big cargo container behind them, it's more of a sort of open area, and it's full of pretty civilian-looking rats who are basically
Wheels.
just doing
Is
their
there a Skaven saloon anywhere?
Not that you can see.
Just selling beer.
There's a rat on a piano. Just sort of.
One of them's wearing petticoats on the stage.
It's called the rat's ass.
There's two rats performing burlesque, but one of them gets hungry halfway through and starts eating the other. You can imagine it's probably somewhere, right? But it's not right here, so difficult to tell what's going on in there.
I'm just thinking in terms of eel being an eel that's quite large, whether it's realistic for us to be able to, because Okri could presumably just kind of float up and over if needs be, but eel doesn't fly very high and is a long eel.
Well, what's the plan?
I was just thinking sneaky.
How are you both at stealth?
I don't have it.
Oh, I don't have it
None.
either.
I'm non-stealth.
Yeah.
Slippery eel, though.
Yeah.
Maybe eel could act like a slip and slide.
Wow. In the last few minutes, we've had Spaghetti Land, Skaven Saloon, and Slip and Slide.
I'm sure this is what they were thinking of when they came up with the Age of Sigmar lore.
Okay.
Okay.
You're welcome to try a stealth check, if that's the plan.
Yeah. If not, we'll just.
Yeah.
hack
I
our
guess
way
we can
through.
see how it goes. So
Perfect. All right.
would it be body stealth?
It'll be body stealth, yeah. Okay. So you're once again under the cover of this sort of like sandstorm. It's giving you a little bit more, a little bit more hope.
Carry on.
But as I said, it opens up into a pretty wide open plain area here, which is why they've stopped the massive vehicle here for it to be unloaded. And as I said before, there are quite a lot of rats who are working on this thing and unloading. And there's kind of like a sort of line where they're sort of pushing it to the next person who's just sort of like pushing it along, almost like they're carrying buckets to a fire sort of thing. As they load up into some kind of pallet, maybe, which they'll drag across the floor to the weapon.
We can sneak past that lot easy.
Sure.
I mean, look, they're all facing one direction. So
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
So what
I
are
didn't
we
know
looking
those
for
guys
here?
were here.
Okay. Let's say that this is a difficulty of 4, but we'll drop it to 3 because of your advantage. But you're probably going to need about 3 successes minimum.
Cool. 3 dice, 3 ups.
I already rolled, and I rolled a 3, a 4, a 4, and a 2. So that is 3 successes at 3.
I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 2.
Yeah.
Baby.
That's 0 successes.
Hmm?
That's 0 successes from you, Joe.
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah, that is
all right.
correct.
So here's what happens. Without sort of like saying the plan, you're just like, let's sneak past them to each other. You're like, yeah, sure, it sounds good. Gwyn had a pretty good idea of how to do that and started heading off and, just used the dust storm to their favor and just pushed around to the right-hand side of this path so that they were all looking the wrong direction and managed to slip through to try and get closer.
Yep.
Okri, as you said, let's stealth. You kind of reckoned with yourself, what's the plan here? I guess we just go forward and hope no one sees, right? And you just start tottering into the air with your engine. And as you look down at the rats, they're not saying anything, but you are noticing them just going... and there's a quiet moment for, let's say, 10 seconds where you're like, wow, I'm pretty good at this.
Tact is for cowards. This is going great.
But as you're getting closer, suddenly loud shouts of the words intruder, dwarves, disgusting,
Wow.
attack.
Wow, really personal.
Yeah, all sorts of words being thrown out from this massive line of Skaven. And you start hearing the like heavy metallic sounds of these weapon ammunitions being just dropped onto the floor as they start clamoring around to find things that they can throw at you and maybe attack you with. Gwyn, you've managed to get almost all the way there to this big vehicle. Right now, you haven't been seen. That might have been aided by the massive distractions that Okri has inadvertently provided.
It's about to get massiver as well. I'm gonna stop, putting myself forward. I'm just gonna come to a low hover and go, yeah, well, it was worth a try. And I'm just gonna bring my ethermatic volley gun to bear, and I want to just become an attack chopper.
Okay.
It's like, boom, again, just get the strummer out, being like, just yeah.
Okay, give me mine plus ballistic skill, and we'll call this 3 ups. Once again, 1 success equals 1 dead rat.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. One of those is a 6.
Oh.
Okay. So, Gwyn, as you sort of like pull it up into a position, maybe you're behind like one of the pallets that they've already filled full of ammo, giving yourself some cover. You're like, what is going on over there? Because I'm hearing quite a lot of screeching. As you just sort of like pop your head over the top, you just see like this weapon being pulled from the back of the dwarf, as all kinds of rats on the ground are sort of throwing stones, and then like the wide-eyed fear that you saw in them before when you were charging at them with your eel, as this like sound of starts pouring out from the volley gun as just all sorts
like
of
you're listening
projectiles
to
are flying
Johnny, it's like
down.
you're listening to music while you're doing this. You're not even looking at like.
Oh, I'm perfectly serene. It's like
Dust is flying up and bits of metal are pinging off. You see rats just drop left, right, and centre. In the background, as the alarm starts sounding, as you can probably expect, you see some of the actual armoured Skaven start picking up their slings and throwing rocks a little bit more aggressively. Right in the background, actually, can you roll me an awareness plus mind, both of you, mind plus awareness, sorry, and you're looking for, it's quite difficult to see right now, just 1 5 or higher.
yeah, that's 2 6s.
I've got a 5.
Yeah, so you can both see in the background, behind one of these triangular Skaven shields, the barrel of a gun just being planted on top. And just as the light hits where that area is, you can see the glint of a scope from one of the towers.
Oh, Giselles. Cool.
So wait, is this? They're not on ground level. These.
They are relatively high up. They're on these sort of like, if you imagine there's all kind of these kind of shanty towers that people are sort of like keeping an eye on. One of them has just sort of clambered up onto there and sort of like hefted the barrel of this weapon onto it.
How large is the ammo for the weapon?
Oh, it's like
the main weapon.
Longer than eel. It's
okay, right.
huge, like almost like a ballista ammunition.
There goes that idea. Unless eel has incredible core strength, but okay. Is it within? Is this rat with some kind of sniper rifle within throwing range of, let's say, a pike or a spear?
That'd be a powerful throw. It wouldn't be an easy one. I'm like, let's say that if we were in organized combat right now, there'd be 2 zones. One on one side of each of the, one each on each side of the massive vehicle that you've been trying to get towards. They're in a third zone that's further away, so they're quite a distance away.
That's decidedly not medium range. Okay. Dang.
You're a little bit closer, Okri, because you're on the other side of this vehicle.
Okay, because my rivet gun is medium range. So
Give it a fire.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay, all right. Let's say first of all that you need to not get shot. So
that's fair. Yeah.
So please roll me a body plus either dexterity or reflexes, I suppose, would also be.
Yes, please. Reflexes. That's 5d6.
You're looking for what's your what's it called? Defense?
My defense is good.
Okay, they have I would say a ballistic skill of great.
Yeah.
So probably 1 higher.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that you are looking for 5s or above.
Okay, then that's 1 success.
Okay, so you manage to cotton on to what's about to happen and start just hitting hard on one of the thrusters on your engine as you just sort of like rotate yourself to the side, which means that you avoided the actual thing itself being pierced, but a shot just ricochets off your shoulder. And let's say that you take 2 toughness damage.
Fine. That's absolutely fine. Cool.
But it's time to return fire now.
Yes, I'd like to do some of that.
Okay, so they've got a defense of just good.
Okay. Which is
Barkin.
equal to my good ballistic.
Okay, so that's going to be difficulty of 4, and you're rolling your mind plus ballistic.
Mine plus ballistics. Right, it's another 5d6. So I'm looking for what? 4 ups, did you say?
You're looking for 4 ups.
That's 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, so you unleash another volley, and from like a more sort of bird's eye view, you can see the bullets just sort of like hitting the dust as you make like a trail up to the tower, because you started firing way before you started aiming.
Oh, this is the rapid fire rivet gun. So I'm more like I sort of just lower the volley gun, draw a pistol, and it's like.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, you fire off a couple of shots, sort of with the gun sideways, of course. With a few of them just sort of like bouncing off parts of the scaffolding. But one of them actually just cracks straight through the lens of whatever this rifle was. You can see the glint just break down, and you just see, you don't really know what happened, but you can basically work it out from the gun just sort of slumping down from what you can see. But as this is happening, that there are more and more sort of like range-equipped Skaven sort of popping out of all sorts of corners.
Okay.
We will flip over to Woody, who is currently on top of this huge weapon after knocking out some of the crew. Weirdly, you waited for a minute for the attacks to come your way, but it doesn't seem like anyone's actually noticed. But as you hear some of the fighting happening on the other side and the alarms raised, you're like, oh, okay, that's probably why. They've got bigger fish to fry right now, bigger dwarves to fly.
Wait.
So can I just start hacking at the machine, at the weapon?
So you're currently sort of at like the loading area. Like this is kind of where they would put the projectiles in. From what you can tell you what, give me a skill check of your mind plus ballistic skill. Let's see how well you know weapons in general. You're looking for 4s or higher, and let's say that you probably need about 2 successes.
I only got 1.
Okay, so you've got like a rough idea of how this thing works, but you're not really from an army that uses massive siege weaponry. Normally you just shove a javelin in the arm of a huge tree man and let him chuck it, right? This is a little bit more confusing. But whenever you noticed the sound of the engine loading, it was this kind of like powerful force that was vibrating against the ground. So you would guess that the power of it is coming from the bottom. But it depends on the kind of damage you want to take. But as one single person, no matter how big you are, it's going to be difficult to completely disassemble this thing on your own. You probably need to target and strike.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to disassemble it. I just wanted to kind of hack at it. Could I hack at the bottom if I think it's being powered from the bottom?
If you want to wildly swing at it, we'll see what happens. That's absolutely
okay. Let's
fine.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so body plus your weapon skill, please. I'm going to say the defense on this thing is probably superb because it's huge and it's covered in metal. What's your melee skill?
Good.
Good. Okay, so it's 2 higher, so you need to be rolling 6s.
Go on, mate.
I rolled 3 1s, a 2, and a 4.
None of those are 6s.
Well, you certainly made some noise. That'll
Clang, clang.
Yeah, so cut to a rat below who's just sort of like fixing one of the bolts on this thing, who just hears like a ding dong upstairs. He's like, what is going on? And a couple of them like confused that you just sort of like lean your head over after realizing the noise you've made. You can see a few of them are kind of like looking around and maybe starting to head for the stairs that come up to your weapon platform.
Good. I'll take care of them when they get here.
Oof.
Morgana, what are you up to?
So what are these stinky rats doing? Are they still?
There's a big old column of them. I think they've picked up their speed now. That I can hear that there's intruders.
Where exactly are they?
But there's still quite a big group of them. Well, so if you imagine that they've like pushed in front of you like this, they're now starting to bend off around to back where you came from. But they haven't turned heel or anything. They're just sort of like doing a left 90-degree angle turn.
Can I maneuver around them, or are they just blocking off the path entirely?
They're blocking off the path for a while. You'd have to wait for a bit. But there's a few sort of stragglers that you can maybe just hope to squeeze through. Depends how safe you
How
want to be.
how much noise would it make if I wanted to jump over them?
I guess it would depend on how well you jumped, because it's not the jump that makes noise,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's the landing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Screw
find
it.
out?
I'm gonna try and leap over them.
Okay, let's call this body plus dexterity then. All right, so you're gonna have to leap over quite a thick column of them. So let's say that it's 4s and up, but you need about 2 or 3 successes to make the jump. But we'll count each success as a chunk of distance.
I did 3 successes.
Hooray.
Okay, so you sick of waiting, and after hearing what's going on, you just like pull apart from this rock that you've been standing behind, give yourself a big run up, and then just leap with planting your foot firmly on the top of the rock that you were hiding behind before, and just launching yourself over, doing a flip in the air. And as you just fall back down onto the ground, you manage to clear them easily. You land on one of the metallic roofs of the buildings around them, which makes a bit of a noise and kind of breaks your stealth. But at the very least, you've got some distance between you and them, and they're now sort of like caught between, should we be helping out with the fight over there, or who's this elf? What's going on? So you've got a moment to capitalize on that.
She's just gonna run towards the weapon. Yeah.
You're just gonna bolt for the big weapon placement.
There's no point in
do it.
fighting
Okay,
these guys.
give me another roll, same stats.
Yeah.
Looking for 4s.
I got 2 successes.
Okay, so you probably make it about
Right.
halfway there before you start getting into scuffles. So outside of this, this weapon placement base, there's like a kind of like a ramshackle fencing of scrap metal and wood that you need to vault over. But as you get there, you start to properly be noticed now. So people are rats are aware of your presence. We'll cut back to Gwyn, who is currently watching this fight unfold, but is still unnoticed. The only person who hasn't actually made themselves completely out in the open
is the person riding a massive eel.
Exactly. Which, I mean, look,
That's what they call me, slippery eel. Okay, are there any rats left on the ground level that might be taking aim at Okri?
Plenty. Most of the ones that are actually equipped to be firing at Okri are on the other side of this vehicle that you're trying to get to. But the ones that are just sort of throwing loose rocks and stuff are just the ones that were unloading the gear from the vehicle itself.
Okay.
A lot of them are currently riddled with bullet holes, though, so that's good.
I think Gwyn would look at the doom wheel, and then look at the rats, and look at the doom wheel. Yeah. And basically rear up on eel and just go full pelt for the closest gang of rats.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, I'd like to try and impale, like line up so that my Volt Spear, which has piercing, which I can't find in the book, but I can only assume what that means is you can impale multiple rats at a time.
100%, yeah.
But I reckon that's also one of the other uses, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do, is get as many on a kebab as possible.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right, perfect. Well, let's call this beast handling. Because it's all in the approach, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Because you're just holding the weapon. It's how you aim it with the eel you're riding.
it's the first thing they teach you at eel riding school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's call this body plus beast handling.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, we'll say their defense is poor and your melee skill is.
It is great
Whoa.
It's great
because I'm mounted, so it goes up one.
Oh, wow.
Normally it's good, but when I'm mounted on eel, it goes up by a step, so it's great.
Okay, well you need 2 ups, and for every success is another skewered rat.
Body beast handling, yep.
Body beast.
Okay, I've got 5 dice with a focus.
Body beast.
Yeah. Handle that body beast, baby.
What was I aiming to roll, sorry?
2 ups.
2 or higher.
2 ups. Okay, I'm going to spend my focus because I rolled a 1, 2 3s, and a 4. I got 1 more die as well, don't I? And another 4. So I've got 5 successes.
Okay. Conveniently, 5 rats are stood all in a line throwing rocks at your friend, and you just cleave through them, making a complete kebab of them all, as you say, with the skewered blade just piercing out the other side of the last one. To the point where you're not entirely sure where to grab your spear anymore.
Yeah.
Just like just limp
My hand
rat.
halfway through a Skaven.
Do I see this from my vantage point?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay, you've probably got a moment now to try and maneuver yourself into a better position if you want.
Yeah.
You're currently just sort of floating in the air.
Yeah, it's tactically not great. How close is Gwyn to the Doom Wheel? Or
Now that Gwyn has charged into these rats, pretty much like it would take like a few steps to get towards them.
Great, okay. I want to putt my way over to Gwyn. I want to provide covering fire while we just get in, and then, just.
Okay, so you can float yourself down to where Gwyn is as they're trying to sort of like.
I tried to lift
leverage
my
the
spear
rats off of the spear,
to wave, but there's 5 rats, so it's very heavy and I can't do it.
And you're just blind firing behind you as you're puttering towards the Doom Wheel. As you get there, you're like, right, time to get in the Doom Wheel, right? And then you look at your back and see the giant Endrin that is still hanging from it, and realize that you're probably going to have to detach it if you want to get inside.
I'm assuming I can't lean out the side.
What? You definitely put yourself off balance quite a bit,
Perfect.
considering it's a uni-wheel device.
Yep. Fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Wow.
Fine. Yeah. I'm an Endrin rigger,
All right.
mate, not a walking about rigger.
Got it. All right. Well, let's say that I am going to have to ask you to tear open a bit to make it wide enough for you to get in. If you're not going to clamber in.
Okay.
So you'll need to break open a gap in the side that your Endrin can stick out.
Oh, of the Doom Wheel?
Just use the controls like this.
Of the Doom Wheel?
Of the Doom
Oh,
Wheel.
yeah, fine. I'll pull out my Aethematic Saw and just like...
Yeah. Let's call this body plus crafting then.
That's the funniest thing I've ever
Crafting
heard.
an entrance.
This is quite strong metal.
Yep.
So let's say that it's probably a 4-up, and you probably need to break about 2 or 3 of the beams to get in. So we'll say about 3
Well,
successes.
that's 3 successes, so...
Oh, he's a big crafty boy, isn't he?
I was kicking myself for taking crafting, and now I'm having a great time.
So the saw, just with a bit of give, manages to cleave its way through the metal, and after you've made like a white-hot separation, you just use your strength to peel them apart as you just bend the metal out of the way and just slide yourself in. You're literally like... The seat's controls are over here. You're literally just sort of like hanging
That
out
can't
the
be
side.
good for your
Love
neck.
it.
Is if you can imagine like a mobster just like hanging off the sidecar of an old-fashioned
Yep.
car, and you're holding onto the steering wheel.
Gwyn, you hear like the sound of screeching metal stop, and then just a voice boom like a glove.
Gwyn, what's the eel-related plan? If you would like to also get in a Doom Wheel.
I mean, Gwyn doesn't... Okay, let me think. So Doom Wheels operate by spinning round, right?
Yes.
Oh no, what madcap
Just
scheme.
have him on the inside like a hamster that's
That's
lost
what I was-
control. Yes.
How would eel fit in a kind of rolled up...
I mean, I don't
No,
think you'd be
you're
very
going to make that
happy
eel
about
very
it.
sick.
No, but
I mean,
you
it's
know,
beast
means
handling,
must.
right?
You know,
Yeah. This is
I
body
didn't have
plus
mu-
animal mishandling.
Yeah, this is body plus beast mishandling, please. Which will also count as beast handling. I can't imagine this will be easy. Let's say that... I mean, look, you only need to shove 1 eel in there, so you only need 1 success. But we'll call it a 5 or higher.
okay. One more. Okay, I got 2 successes.
Wow. Okay. You've managed to control eel to the point where it's not questioning what you're doing, but it's definitely thinking about it. But as you just sort of slop him in, he sort of makes like a perfect almost like the rubber around a bike wheel
I think,
on the inside.
Yeah, I get a bit of like skaven. I hack off like a skaven limb and like tempt Ian, like, come on.
Well, the wheel isn't turning yet, so he's like, oh, okay, right, this seems fine. But you mount yourself onto the seat itself. You'll be surprised to learn there aren't any seat belts in this thing, but there are, after a while of trying to figure it out under gunfire, you do sort of figure out how the controls work. And as you sort of like push on one of the levers, it does seem to rev it up a little bit. And you look across to Oakrey, who has also just figured it out, and you just sort of like peered around his engine to try and see his face, and you get a moment of nodding at each other like, let's do this. But we'll have to find out what happens next on the next episode
Road tripping!
of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound, as the biker bros mount their new hogs. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. This has been our Let's Play of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound. We will be back next week with another episode. But until then, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified whenever a new video goes live on this here channel, Dicebreaker. And if you want to see more of Alex, me, and Matt Jarvis, you can get on over to dicebreaker.com, our home, where we have all sorts of fantastic articles written by those two and all of our brilliant contributors as well. You can also support the channel even further by grabbing some merch from dicebreaker.myshopify.com.
What's that?
Thanks very much for watching, and have a grim, dark day.